All right, here's a quick video on the Lee Precision Collet die. I just wanted to kind of review some of the advantages of this thing, why I like it, and I wanted to review the setup because I actually made some mistakes on the setup of this thing because I'm an idiot and didn't read the instructions. So I'll just kind of go through kind of my learning on this guy. All right, so first of all, how this thing works is it utilizes a mandrel to set neck tension. Basically, the case is driven up here, and well, let's just take it apart. Let's see how this works. End cap. So there's three pieces to this, okay? There's the neck size collet, right? There's the mandrel that squeezes, basically the collet squeezes the neck against this to set the neck tension. These are precisely machined. And you can buy undersized mandrels to increase your neck tension. And then this is basically just the, well, I don't know, the forcing cone. So essentially how this works, I've got a example case, right? This case fits into this guy precisely. Maybe that's sort of hard to see, but the the neck is right there. Mandrel goes down through, right? It does pop your primer out as well. But what's unique about this is your press actually, your shell holder comes in contact with this barrel. So you're not actually forcing anything onto the case, right? If you're bumping the shoulder with this thing, you're doing it wrong. And I'll cover this in the setup. But what this does is places the case in the barrel or in the collet correctly, and then it pushes the collet against the forcing cone, causing this guy to clamp around the neck, set the tension, and then you're done. Let's talk about this a little bit. So this is a 2000 undersized mandrel. Okay, this is what is this? This is for 243. So this is 239 thou. I'm going to be trying this to see if this will help me kind of reel in my extreme spread numbers a little bit for some reloading. But anyways, that's basically how this neck sizer die works. It doesn't touch anything else except the neck. Let's go over how the press works. All right, so here's the press. This is an RCBS rock chucker. I've had this thing for over 20 years. This is a pretty awesome press. But anyways, we got the collet die set up here. So one of the things that is worth mentioning, the reason why I like this collet die is prior to this I was using just your standard like RCBS resizers, full size or neck size die. Basically what that does is you press a fired shell up into the case or up into the die. It basically undersizes the neck, right? And then you drag the thing back down through the decapping pin. It has a neck sizing ball on the end of it, right? So a couple things that I guess hinder accuracy is concentricity of the bullet with the chamber matters, and that process does not consider concentricity at all, right? You could have thin walls on one side of the neck and thick wall on the other side of the neck, and the collet does not, or the bushing, right, essentially is what it is, does not care, right? it's just going to size the outside of that neck regardless of where the hole is in it, right? This is why neck turning and things like that with the bushing dies is sometimes a requirement. But what I ran into, I have a basically a precision, it's a Remington 700 SPS, which is my kind of long range gun. When I say long range, I'm talking 500-600 yards, okay, because I'm a hunter. But what I found was neck turned cases don't seal, okay? So my soot line's all over the place, my accuracy's all over the place. This kind of gets around that a little bit. I don't lose it, I don't have to take any material off to maintain or get, right, concentric, alignment of the cases. But anyways, kind of the thing to keep in mind with this guy, when you press the case into the die, right, like I mentioned before, and this is just a regular RCBS shell holder, nothing special here. It actually, you set this up to moving that. You set this up to, your press actually hits the barrel on the collet, right? The shell or the case is just along for the ride, okay? You're pushing the collet up into that forcing cone to squeeze the collet around the neck, right? And I will say this, when I first set this up, I set it up to cam over, and it's very inconsistent. It's actually in the literature, which I failed to read the first time. But you don't cam this over. What they recommend is that you put 25 pounds, at least 25 pounds of pressure on this to resize the neck. But there's a caveat in there as well about a press like the RCBS Rock Chucker, because this thing makes a ton of torque and a ton of force, so it's even less for this guy. Basically what I do is I just put slight pressure on this guy, and then I turn the case and press it, turn the case, press it, right, usually 3 times. But and it's all about the nice thing about this is it will actually move material around to even up your wall thickness on the neck, okay? So you're concentric on the outside and on the inside, which there's no neck turning, and that's kind of the advantage of this guy in my book. But this has really helped me, especially with this Remington, seal off these necks, these cases the right way. Don't pay any attention to this case, it's cracked. That's why it's an example case. But yeah, this is the Lee Precision Collet die. Give it a try.